Hey.
Hey everybody, welcome to Terminus Live once again. I, as always, am Corey, and today I'm joined with my guest, Chase Yarbrough.
Hello.
Hi Chase.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good so far. Just get to play some games, hang out with you guys.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be super fun. Well, do you want to introduce yourself a bit and just say what you do?
Yeah, sure. So, like you said, my name's Chase. I work in Atlanta as an electrician or set lighting technician. I also do independent gaffing jobs. Like I've been working on some music videos with a company out of Athens called Dominar Films that make really kick-ass music videos. And I also worked as a gaffer on a feature film in the summer called This World Alone that's doing a crowdfunding campaign right now on Seed and Spark. You guys should go check it out. It's thisworldalone.com. I think they have like a week left, but they're like 80-something% funded, so they just need a little bit more. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I do. And hang out with you guys and play video games.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, cool. Well, today we're playing Borderlands 2, which you said brought back good memories.
Yeah. Whenever I was a kid, me and my brother and my friend Robert would play Borderlands 1 and 2 and the prequel, like, just an ungodly amount of hours. So I think it's kind of cool that I get to play it again today and just kind of, like, reminisce. It's fun. Get to be my little ninja guy. Zero. He's my man. Yeah.
All right. What?
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Okay, that must be something from the game. Okay, cool. Well, let's start. Let's play some games.
Yeah.
We kind of started a little bit beforehand just to kind of get past the intro bit. First off, I want to ask, and I only ask because every single time I go to a movie and I'm with like family, they always ask, "What's a gaffer?" And like, "What's a best boy grip?" And what's the difference between all of those things?
Yeah, so...
That's probably like a 101 question, but...
No, I mean, a lot of people don't really know what exactly they do. So the gaffer is the head of the lighting department. So essentially, he kind of works with the DP to execute lighting plans and figure out exactly how a scene's going to be lit. And he, on bigger things, he has a whole team behind him where he's got a best boy electric, which is essentially the guy that goes and hires people, make sure all the gear's there, all that stuff, all the kind of paperworky stuff. And then he's got electricians underneath him that kind of do all of the actual work, going and setting lights, running distro, distribution power lines and things like that. There's also like rigging electrics that do that too before you even step on set. That's if you're getting like really much bigger projects. On smaller projects like independent stuff, it's usually like just the gaffer and maybe like one or two electrics, and then the grip team, which grip and electric are two separate teams usually. You would hope they would be, because the way I like to remember it is like the electric team brings light in, and the grip team takes it away, like works in shadows. So it's like electric works in light and power, grip works in shadows, and camera support like dollies and things like that.
Gotcha. So yeah, they're the ones actually moving hardware and like flags and
the grips would do like flags and big overhead silks and things like that, and the electricians would be handling the condors and like the big lights, the HMIs and tungsten lights and LEDs, actually setting them up and placing them.
And so what is Best Boy?
Best Boy, like I said, there's a Best Boy grip and a Best Boy electric. They essentially are the guys that will hire you if you're like an electric or a grip, and they're the guys that kind of do all the paperwork, like make sure that the trucks are there, make sure that you have all your gear, make sure that there's enough people to crew up, things like that. Essentially, it's like the right-hand man of the key grip or the gaffer.
Okay. Cool. Well, now we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
How did you get your start? Like, how did you get started to be on sets, to be a gaffer? And were you in other departments first and you made your way over, or did you kind of know what you want to do?
I did the whole film school thing. So I went through, like, just a gauntlet of student shorts for about 2 years. I don't even know how many we did. It's an absurd amount.
Too many.
Yeah. So I just bounced around departments there and just eventually landed in lighting, and I was pretty good at it. And then I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then one day somebody just asked me, like, hey, do you want to come work on this union thing? And I was like, yeah, sure. And now I do some union electric stuff. I'd been gaffing off and on since college. Like I said, I've done some music videos. I'm about to go do another music video in a couple weeks. I'm pretty excited about because I get to work with the Dominar guys again and girls. Katie and Ben, they're awesome. But yeah, so I just kind of do all sorts of things with lighting.
And so you mentioned you got a union gig, and that's kind of how you got into the union, right? And that seems pretty consistent across departments.
Yeah.
You just kind of like do it until someone says, hey, you want to work on this union thing, and then you can be in the union.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to join too soon, because if you don't know anybody, then like you're just going to pay all that money, and then you're not going to have any jobs, and then it's just going to kind of suck. And which is already hard enough to get jobs whenever you do know people, so you might as well just wait till somebody says, hey, come on. But
cool. Well, can you talk about, like, you said you have a project coming up, but do you have like a favorite project that you've worked on in the past?
That's hard. It's probably stuck between the feature, This World Alone, because it was the first feature that I did, and it's just a bunch of really awesome people that I got to work with, and it was just an awesome experience. And then also, one of the first music videos I did with Dominar for Don Broco, it was Come Out to LA. It just came out a couple months ago.
Oh, wow.
And it's really awesome. And again, they're just awesome people, great to work for. All of their sets are kind of crazy, but crazy in a good way. I don't think that there's ever like a music video that's not just crazy.
Right. Yeah, well, crazy how? Can you elaborate?
Well, just like long days, a lot of work, but I mean, music videos, just across the board, if you ask anybody that works on music videos, they'll say like they're just like batshit. You go and go and go for as much as you can and try to cram in as much as you can in as little time as possible. Mainly because of artists, because you're dealing with bands that are like on the road and things like that. So you have a very short time that you can actually do anything. You can't like plan it out like a regular shoot where you could be like, oh, I got like forever to do this. It's no, we got to cram as much as we can into like 2 or 3 days, and then let's just make a go of it. But yeah, it's fun though. Like I said, I've gotten the opportunity to work with some really cool people, and just excited to keep working with them and keep meeting new people and keep just learning, really, because I feel like that's another cool thing about every set that I've been on. You learn something new. You get to try new things. So that's why it's hard to like say which one's my favorite one,
right?
Just because it's each one I've done different things and learned different things.
Right. Well, so this is a good segue to what do you feel like you learned on the job that you maybe didn't learn in film school? Or is it everything that you learned on the job that you didn't learn in film school?
I would say I'd lean towards almost everything, because like film school, it was nice because it was kind of like a cheap equipment rental to like play with gear and kind of learn what everything was, but actual like practical like hands-on stuff, you can't really replace being on set. That's just a fact. One thing that I definitely did not learn in film school that was a big eye-opener in the real world was like power distribution. like when you're working with like generators and stuff like that. I had no idea, and I still am like pretty novice about it, but it's...
So that's the idea of like making sure that you're not blowing fuses by plugging in too much stuff, or is there more to it than that?
There's a little more, like the fuses stuff school taught you, but actual working with big generators and things like that, the school wasn't... We didn't have access to like big generators and things like that, so there was no way for me to really learn it. So it was kind of cool whenever I got on the first set that had like distribution lines and that I could actually see how it all works, and like learning what 60 amp bait cables go into and like how to set up different like power distribution equipment and things like that. But still learning that, like that's kind of the big thing that I'm trying to learn the most about, because it's the thing I know the least about.
Right. Is there,
We
do you have questions? Oh, good.
How expensive is the equipment that you own or want to get?
That's also a loaded question. The stuff that I own... Oh, no. The stuff that I own, it varies. It's somewhere... It's a couple thousand, like it's in the thousands. But the stuff I want, like you can go forever with wanting things. That's like a never-ending list. If I had $100,000 today, I'd probably spend it tomorrow on gear. So that's a hard question to answer.
Unlimited money.
Yeah, it's what new toys could I buy today?
So you'll need a different career, so that way you can pay for all the things you want for the
No. The key is...
That's why you use other people's equipment.
That. And the key is really, like, just getting enough gigs so that you can kind of finance your gear. You have to just be patient and not just blow all your money and then, like, hope that you can pay it off. You gotta, like, kind of be savvy about it. For sure.
Alright, we have another question from my friend Adam, who lives out in LA, that I just went and saw. He said, where's the scariest place that you've ever had to hang lights or cables?
Oh, that's a good question.
Scariest place I've ever had to hang lights or cables.
I guess without, like, throwing anyone under the bus.
Like, I think the scariest, as in, like, safety-wise, was this one time on a short, where we were in this basement, and the basement started to flood.
Oh, jeez.
And so, like, we had to kind of build up boxes to run the lines, like, over the water that was already kind of, like, a good, like, 3 inches deep.
Oh, wow.
And it just kept coming in. Like, there was just a pipe that was, like, I guess it burst. I don't know. But that was probably the most scary safety-wise. That's probably, yeah, that would say it. Or, like, anything in a condor. Because I'm not a huge heights person. And for people, like, don't know what a condor is.
I was going to ask, what's a condor?
It's like an aerial work platform, essentially. Like, if you ever see people working on, like, power lines, like in those buckets, it's essentially bigger versions of that they put lights and people in, and they just, like, send you, like, 60 or 80 feet up in the air.
Oh, shit.
To just sit up there all night. If you're good with heights, it's a really cush job. So you literally just sit up there all night, and they're like, oh, pan the light left a little, and that's 3 hours later. Maybe pan it back right. It's really cush if you're good with heights, but I'm not really good with heights. I'm certified to do it, but it's one of those situations where it's like, I'd rather not if I can get away with not doing it.
Adam said, yeah, that ish is scary.
It is.
So when you're up high, do you just imagine that something's gonna, like it's gonna tip over? Or that it's gonna, like...
It's not really that scary when you're up there. It's getting up there and then coming back down. Like, it's the in-betweens. Just because, like, the bucket sways, There's like wobble room. It kind of sucks, especially if you don't know like the order to come down in, because there's like an order in which you'll like make the actual pillars come down, or else you'll get like more wobble than necessary. And yeah, any way you cut it, it's still gonna like wobble a little, and it's gonna feel like you're probably gonna die, but you don't die, so that's cool.
Not yet.
Somebody named Jeremy Chow said, "Have you ever considered acting? I saw this movie, Bruh, once, that starred some dude that kind of looked like you."
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's a thing that happened. That was me. I like to leave my acting stuff in the past. I try not to really act any ever.
Gotta use stage names.
Yeah. That was Christopher, not Chase. But I see you, Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy.
Would you like to elaborate on
what's
the
Bruh?
plot of Bruh?
Okay. Fine. So, Bruh was I don't even think it was I think it was like a production 1 short that one of my fellow classmates did. And the whole plot was me and this other guy having like a bromance that turned into a romance. And it was like, the guy was this muscle-bound jockey guy that was just doing push-ups in the living room and like acting really like stereotypical jockey, and I was sitting there like contemplating whether or not to tell him how I felt about him, like just with my facial expressions. And then all of a sudden we get to the climax of the film, and it's him staring at my crotch with like a big bulge in my pants and just saying bruh, and then it cuts to black. So it's essentially just saying that...
You forgot the...
Yeah, there was that. There was the air horns as the close-up of my crotch happened. Yeah, it was a very, like, bad, like, B-movie porno vibe. Let's not.
I was on set audio for that, and terrified the whole time.
I believe you.
Moral support.
Moral support. Yeah, that was rough. That was a time.
So this is a good segue into what was the worst experience you've had, or what was let me phrase that better. What's a good learning experience that you had on a set where things were maybe snafu, and you learned, oh, I shouldn't do it that way anymore, or you learned from someone else that you shouldn't do it that way?
The light bulb. Oops.
Light bulb you broke?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the first union thing I ever got on was, it was a prep day for a YouTube show, and I broke a bulb for an 18K light, which, for you guys that don't know, like, how expensive those bulbs are, it's like a good, like, $1,500 or more bulb, like $1,500 to $1,800 bulb. So that sucked. But the best boy was just kind of like, it's okay, it's Sony money.
Well, that's nice that they were.
But I thought for sure I was going to get fired. But I didn't, so that was cool.
So in that situation, you learned that if it's Sony money, it's okay.
No, yes and no. At the same time, I learned that I should probably be a little bit more cautious with the way that I handle changing out bulbs and things that are worth more than the car I had at the time.
We have another question from Adam. He said, "Are you union or non? Pros and cons of both."
Well, Adam, if you were listening. No.
So I am in a union. I'm in Local 479, but the pro of that is that they don't really care too much if you work non-union things. So the pros...
Well, Georgia is right to work, so it doesn't...
Yeah, exactly.
They have no legal way to
really, like, there's no teeth for it, really.
Right.
So really, there's all pros and not a whole lot of cons. because the con would be the dues. I mean, yeah, you have to pay a lot of money to get in. But once you pay that, if you work a couple union shows, then it pays for itself tenfold. It's not a big deal. But it's the initial cost that sucks. But that's everything. And the dues kind of go away, too, which is kind of nice. Like, what I mean by that is, like, for the last couple years, they've voted so that if you work enough union gigs to pay for your dues for the year in union fees, then they pay for your dues already. So that kind of works in your favor. So just if you get work, then you don't have to pay dues at the end of the year anyway. The pros of independent stuff would be just that it's independent, so you get to like kind of learn a little more. That's not as, sometimes it's not as high stress, but sometimes it's even more stress. It's hard to really gauge on that point. But yeah, in Georgia, there's not a lot of cons. It's really, if you get the opportunity to go work on a union thing, then just do it. Join the union. In other states, it's a little different, but that's why I like Georgia.
Yeah. Any more user questions?
Adam did reply, "Oh, that is sweet."
Yeah, because the plus with the whole union thing is I got a lot of work last fall, but then it's since I'm kind of new in the union scene, I haven't really been doing a lot of union stuff since probably December. But I mean, the non-union stuff has been good, so that's why it's nice that we're right to work, so I can just kind of take whatever job comes and not really worry about it too much. This Big Bertha dude is just like fucking us up.
Yeah. And then when Boom is over here.
Oh, that little guy.
Jeez, you gotta stay in cover while trying to get this guy. And then answer questions on top of that. Oh, snap. I'm dead.
Alright, Jeremy said, Chase, do you prefer gripping or gaffing, and why?
I prefer gaffing or like anything in the lighting department, just because I am more interested in learning about power and things than shaping light. So it's just different jobs. I'm just more interested in the jobs that I would get with gaffing, because I like shaping, or I like working with lights and electricity more than working with flags and dollies and things like that. I mean, for sure, if people give me a job as a grip, I'm totally going to take it. It's not one of those things where it's like, ew, like, you want me to be a grip? Ugh. Oh.
Casey Denon? Am I saying
Dynan?
Dynan? Okay. Said, Chase, what's the best part of working in film?
What's the best part? I would probably say getting to work with like creative people every day and not having to have a desk job. That's cool, because I've done like sales, and I've been in retail, and I've been in food services, and all that kind of like, once I got into film stuff, all that kind of sucked in comparison, because I get to work with people that I like most of the time, and the hours kind of suck comparatively, because you can be anywhere from 8 hours to 16 hours, but the work is usually fun, and it always changes. It's not like, it doesn't get like monotonous, and that's always nice, because I get bored easily with jobs. That's kind of was my downfall with my other jobs, for sure.
Selling furniture?
Yeah, I sold furniture for a little while.
Oh, nice.
I was pretty decent at it. It was pretty good money, yeah. But I wanted to do film more, so I quit that.
You give up the furniture game?
I know. It was a hard choice. Yeah, they really did, though. They kind of like, it was a trap. They locked you in with like really good money and like really flexible hours because they let me go and do my film stuff whenever I wanted to, pretty much.
Oh, nice. Well, that sounds like a great starter job, or like a holdover job then.
Yeah, it was really good for what it was, but I needed to get out because I knew if I stayed there that I would just stay there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's one of those feelings.
Jeremy asked, am I one of the people that you like, quote unquote, most of the time?
Yes. You're pretty cool. Yeah, Jeremy is also trying to get into the industry as well. He's one of our friends we went to school with. He's trying to be an AD and also like PA and things like that. He worked with me on 2 music videos so far, and we've done a host of short films. He was in that ridiculous amount of short films that we did as well, because he directed a lot of them too, and wrote a couple of them. So he's pretty creative as well.
Jeremy said fair. Also, someone named Ethel said, name
Who?
some badass producers you've worked with.
Glad all these people are feeding questions.
Yeah, so badass producers that I've worked with. Ethel, I feel like this is you put me in a corner, but I mean she is really great. She's a producer. Also Hudson Phillips, the guy that's working on This World Alone. Also Katie from Dominar is really good. And Melissa Simpson is really great.
Who?
She works for Terminus as well. She's why I'm here. So she's pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, I've worked with a lot of different really good producers, so it's hard to just like label it down to just a few.
Alright, so we have a question from Brandon Adams. He says, Chase, what's your favorite film phrase? For example, 10-1. Well,
Probably.
10-1 is not as cool as 10-2, obviously.
But it's
10-2
nowhere-
is much more urgent.
It's nowhere near as good as 10-3.
Is that what you say when you don't
That's,
want anyone to know
No,
what you're...
let's just leave it. I think that
I know what 10-1 and 10-2
somebody-
are.
there's going to be some people that are on this thread that are going to laugh at that, so we'll just leave it at.
Well, okay, explain what 10-1 and 10-2
Alright, so
mean then.
10-1 is I gotta go pee, 10-2 is I gotta go poop. Or another good example is 10-1 is I'll just be back in a couple minutes, or 10-2 is it might be like 30 minutes. And 10-3 is just
10-3 is get a hose.
Well, it's no 10.
Both ends, it's bad.
Something
Call
like
for help.
something like that.
Jeremy really wants you to explain 10-3. He says, do it.
Okay, so 10-3 was actually something that he was one of the inventors of, so that's why he's telling me to explain
Innovation in
it.
Georgia.
So 10-3 is essentially I have to go to the bathroom to wipe my ass.
Right, because sometimes you're walking around.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes the job isn't finished and you have to go back and redo some paperwork.
Exactly.
Swamp
exactly.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-3 is for swamp ass.
10-3 is swamp ass.
Oh, I'm glad there's a word. There's a word for that now.
Yeah.
For like, well, hold on, I gotta. Yeah.
I got a 10-3 right now.
Georgia's a human place. It
That's
happens.
yeah. What's literal
swamp ass
swamps.
is real.
Go clean your peach.
Oh my god. Go clean your peach. That's messed up.
Go clean your peach. Oh my god, we're making magic here. This is
That's good stuff.
yeah.
Also,
this is great.
Not from my perspective, but from my husband's perspective, invest in Gold Bond in Georgia.
Yes,
Dude, Gold Bond makes these, they make these little deodorant strips
Yeah.
or sticks. Those things are lifesavers. I carry them
Like-
in my car all the time.
Regular, like just for like regular underarm sticks,
No,
or just
man.
like
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's like,
for,
yeah, it's for chafing.
for chafing.
Yeah, so it's for your thighs, man, but like,
Is that
I mean,
another
like,
brand?
It's essentially the same kind of stuff. It's just this is like in a deodorant stick. So instead of like the powder or whatever.
See, these are the non-glamorous things that aren't talked about in the film industry. That I'm,
This is
I'm glad
the thing
we're
that we
touching
should
on.
be talking about
Right.
then.
Well, I mean, when you work a 16-hour day and you're walking all that time and
Yeah.
doing
You
hard
get-
labor, that shit.
You get swamp butt. You gotta
Yeah.
go 10-3 every now and then.
Jeremy says this is awesome, swamp ass yes.
Yeah, I think that's this should be like a brochure or something for people, because people come from LA may not know.
Yeah, they may.
They're used to having 75-degree weather year round.
Right.
They come to LA and work on The Walking Dead, and then they're like, "Oh God."
Yeah, I feel like The Walking Dead.
So, this will make you happy, Chase. Brandon, this is not a question, more of a comment. But
Okay.
he says he found your hat. I'm glad this chat is being used for important things.
Close up on that.
That's so exciting. That is beyond exciting. Where is?
Where did you get that hat from?
So I got this hat when I worked on The Walking Dead. I found it in a field. It was just a magical hat, and it's disappeared a couple days ago, or like a couple weeks ago, I guess. And I'm really happy that he found it, because I thought it just kind of like disappeared. The theory we had was just since I found it in a field, it was probably like its owner just like put his hand up, and it came back like Thor's hammer, like out of wherever it was, and it just teleported back to its homeland.
Brandon said, "No, just kidding."
What?
Oh,
Not cool.
It's rude.
This is
That's rude.
what is attacking me?
You just made his night and then crushed his dreams, all in a matter of seconds, Brandon.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right, so I have a question.
Yes.
Everyone in the film industry tends to have their brands that they love. What brands are you into right now?
Like,
Like equipment brands?
Oh,
like-
okay. Yeah. So, almost my entire arsenal of lights is made by Aperture. And Aperture is it's a newer brand. Or they've been around for a little while, but they've just started to kind of really kick ass. All of their lights, their higher end lights, can be controlled with remotes. They're all daylight balanced.
Oh, nice.
And they're all LEDs. They're single source LEDs. Or at least the ones I have the 120D and the 300D. And those are really nice. They're kind of like hard lights. There's different types of light, like hard light and soft, or hard light and soft light, but that could be like a whole different thing. So let's just leave it at that. So the 120D and the 300D is really dope. And then they make these other things for indie filmmakers that I feel like everybody should have. There are these things called M9s. They're like little bitty bricks. They're like $50 and battery powered, and they're nice like accent lights. I've put them in like lamps and to light like backlights, or to have little accents, or all sorts of different things. They're super dope. And I use them constantly now that I have them. I have 2 of them, and I think that they're the most used thing right now. Anything that's accents is pretty dope. But yeah.
Cameron Stevens says hello.
Hello.
I got so much chat interaction today.
Yeah. He's a pretty handsome guy. We didn't even talk about his beard. Your
Oh
beard.
yeah, the beard. Yeah, because the beard in the picture, the promo picture, is not.
fierce.
Yeah, it's great, but you've grown it out.
Yeah,
since
that
then.
was
I think we should talk about beard song.
I'll switch to the cam footage so you guys can get a better view of the beards.
yeah,
There you go.
it's pretty nice.
Okay. Go on
What do
back
you-
to the game footage.
So what do you? Okay, so let's talk beards then.
Okay.
What do you have any kind of like conditioning oil that you use?
Yeah, so I made my own with a base of agave oil, and then
Ooh.
like a bunch of different scents and things like that, and other oils, essential oils. So it's pretty good.
What's in
Keeps
it?
it nice and
Give us
silky
the
smooth.
breakdown. I want to get detailed.
I'm trying.
Or is
I
it like
honestly-
a secret blend you don't want?
Yeah, let's. Yeah, it's jojoba and agave and a bunch of other stuff. It's like almond oil. It's all sorts of stuff. I think I put like 6 different things in there because it's the first one I've actually made. So I think I might have went a little overboard, but like it totally.
What's some of the essential oils that you're like? What the scents that you're using, or is it all like the JoJo oil?
Yeah, the JoJo.
Oh, okay.
Is scented. We put like a little bit of lavender, but not a lot. But yeah, the base is the agave oil.
So is that the same agave that's like syrup? That like you can have like the agave syrup or what they make tequila out of?
I don't think so.
It's a different kind of agave? It is the same?
Or I don't know. That's a good question, actually.
There's only one agave.
Gonna
Made
say,
from cactus plants.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess it just means oil.
Okay, we have a couple more questions.
They better be beard related.
Alright, well, one is beard related, one is not, so we'll go with the beard question first.
Okay.
Good.
Brandon wants to know, is your beard oil FDA approved, and did you test it on any animals?
I did test it, and it's good. It's good to go.
You tested it on animals?
Which animal?
No. Yeah.
Oh.
If you would be animals, I would be an animal. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Homo sapien, so that's cool.
So this is not related to that, but when I had pet shampoo, I had actually it was pet rats, but the little it was like a small animal shampoo, but it said not tested on animals. And I thought if there's ever a thing that needs to be tested on
It'd
animals,
be that.
it's probably animal shampoo.
It's just getting really ramped up into the whole, like, super.
Like, sure, makeup. Yeah, you probably shouldn't test makeup on animals, but if animals are wearing the makeup, then they should test it, make sure it's okay for them.
Alright. So the non-beard related question is
Alright.
from Cameron. He said, what keeps you motivated to go out, make films, and make connections with other filmmakers?
Honestly, the promise of meeting cool people and working on cool things. Because you can't really work on anything cool if you don't meet anybody cool.
Oh man, that's true.
That's honestly, yeah. It was a pretty simple answer, but it's like a very true one. I feel like that's the best answer you could really have. It's just meet cool people so you can work on cool people stuff.
Someone named EagleBoy7780 said, do you keep in touch with friends?
I try to.
Sounds passive
It
aggressive.
sounds very passive aggressive.
I really try to. It is really hard to keep in touch with everybody, just because, like, I try to stay really busy. But I try to keep in touch, for sure. And if we're working together, then obviously I'll see you, because I feel like I spend 90% of my time doing that.
Ethel in the chat said Corey has a good beard too.
Thank you, Ethel.
She didn't want you feeling left out.
Interns gotta make every coworker.
Yeah. Cheers.
You're gonna go far in this company.
Cheers to the intern. Cameron said also that beard swag.
Hey.
Nice.
Oh my god, they should show us the swag bag.
Oh yeah, should we? We never talk about.
The beer opener's amazing. That was like the last one.
I keep dying. Just like chocked it. Tomahawk.
I'm gonna throw out a turret because I'm tired of this.
Eagle Boy also asked, how is it being 80 feet in the air on set?
Not fun. To me. I mean,
It's gotta be pretty isolating.
yeah, I mean, all you have is just your walkie. Like, I haven't spent a whole lot of time doing that, thankfully. Like I said, I try to stay away from that if I can.
Do you take an empty bottle with you?
They've said you need to.
So you're instructed to take an empty bottle with you?
Oh really?
Usually they say you should probably do something like that. Or at least they kind of like mention it. The really funny thing that I've seen happen though is like how you get food. Because they have this little like line, a tether line where they can hoist you up food.
So they don't even wait for you to like
sometimes they'll, like, if it's lunch or something, then they'll, like, bring you down. But if it's, like... Because the really cool... My favorite thing about working on union stuff is food.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have some ballin' food. And they feed you, like, 4 times.
Nice.
It's great. You'll have, like, breakfast if you get there, like, 30 to 45 minutes early. And then they have your regular... Or they'll have, like, a second breakfast. And then...
But what about 11-teeth?
Don't worry, it's coming. So they got like second breakfast, and then they have lunch, and then they have like second lunch. So it's just insane. It is insanity in here, and I love it. So if you're up on a Condor and it's like second lunchtime, then essentially somebody just has to go grab you some chicken wings or whatever. Oh my goodness.
Yes, it happened.
Readus! Yeah, that was kind of funny because I was working with somebody and they were talking about that they had just gotten down from a Condor and they were going to go get Chick-fil-A sandwiches. And yeah, Norman Reedus walks up and he gets a sandwich and it was like the last one. And
remind me.
The guy in the Condor hadn't eaten like all day.
Oh man.
And he's like, I really wanted that sandwich, but at the same time, like that's the only time I probably could just like say I sacrificed my sandwich so that Norman Reedus could have a sandwich. And
he seemed like the kind of person that would be like, that would probably feel really bad if he knew that he was taking it.
He's super chill though. But see, I was on the exact opposite spectrum. I told him I wish that would have been me because that would have been the one time you could actually like take a sandwich from Norman Reedus,
like out of his hand. It's like give me that.
It's like that.
You can buy all of
No
them.
sandwich for you.
Yeah, I always have a need, not a need, but I want to like slap food out of someone's hands sometime. But I don't, obviously I don't follow through because that's extremely rude.
Hashtag joys of marriage.
Yeah, right?
Stop it.
So you got to work on reshoots for Black Panther, right?
Yeah, that was cool.
Tell us about visiting Wakanda.
So I didn't go to Wakanda.
Where was Wakanda?
I think they actually
Atlanta.
like went
Atlanta
to.
is Wakanda.
I mean, like the fields and stuff. Or
Yeah, I think they actually went to Africa, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
I
went,
thought they shot.
They didn't shoot that in Georgia. Like,
I thought
not
the fight scene maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, by the train, yeah, that was all in here. That was
Oh, like if you're talking about the vibranium mine shaft fight and all that, like, yeah, that was shot.
Oh, well, I was talking about the someone in the fields, but yeah, the mine shots. I used to assume that was all like in a studio.
Yeah,
in,
it
like,
was.
Pinewood.
It wasn't at Pinewood. That was actually some of the stuff that we helped reshoot. That was actually at the new Tyler Perry Studios. So, the whatever that fort is called.
Fort Gillum,
Sure.
I think.
It's a fort, and it's a thing.
Or
and
no, Fort... Oh, shit. I think I might be wrong.
I'm not 100% sure, so I can't really, like... But it was really cool, because it was the first time I've ever done anything with, like, fixtures.
McPherson.
McPherson, okay.
Fort McPherson.
Yeah.
Sorry, Fort Gillum is over by Clayton State University.
Huh.
We have more than one fort here in Atlanta.
Ah. We're very 40.
Fortitude.
But yeah, that was really cool, and I got to work on fixtures, which is essentially like putting up LED strips and installing them into the actual stage. So that was really cool. We spent like 7 days doing that, so it was underneath like the sound stage basically, or underneath the stage they'd built on the sound stage, installing LED strips and like running the wires for it and getting really dusty. But it was really cool because whenever it was done and I saw the film, I could like look and see things that I know that I like helped with, and it's like even if that wasn't the exact shot that I did or that I helped on reshoots for, I knew that like I got to see that set. I also got to like help put in some of the LED strips in the actual the plane, like the Wakandan plane, whatever that thing was called.
Okay.
That was cool.
We have 2 more questions.
All right.
Eagle Boy asked, who are some of the people who have helped you get to where you are in the industry? Did having those connections and people have a profound impact on how you approach work and industry life?
So I have to say that like a lot of people in college at University of North Georgia helped because they gave me the tools to like play and really like learn how to use stuff. But then also a lot of other people helped me as well. Like Morgan Cooper helped me because he got me into connection with a bunch of different like Best Boys and stuff like that. And there's just been so many people that have helped me along the way. It's really hard to, without like preparing a list, you know what I mean? That would be like one of those list situations where I'd have to go through Facebook.
Yeah, like an Oscar speech kind of thing, where it's like, oh, so many people to thank.
Yeah, it's really hard.
But it sounds like Best Boys are the ones you really gotta know.
At my level, that's kind of the people I need to know is the Best Boys. Because it kind of gets a little obnoxious, the amount of emails and text messages you kind of have to send out.
Right.
And that's just like the struggle. You have to be ready to just like send out things until your fingers bleed, and then eventually get somebody that's just like, oh hey, you want to come work? And it's like, yes please. Please.
Okay, so in response to the answer you gave to that question, Jeremy said, hell yeah! And then, on the other end of the spectrum, we had someone named Hey Little Buddy ask, how many baby carrots can you eat in 30 seconds? So
That's a really good question. I have no idea, but like, that intrigues me a lot. So I really, like, if we had more time, I'd really, and the resources.
Yeah, we had a way to...
I would want to, like, see how many baby carrots I could eat. I feel
Because
like
if you could do like a handful, like if you're doing it one at a time, that would probably limit it. How many you could do, then if you're going handfuls at a time.
I think I would approach it with, like, at least 3 at a time, because they're baby carrots. I mean, I would just, like, stuff my mouth full and then just, like, chainsaw it with my mouth. Yeah.
Wait, is this how many that you can eat in 30 seconds, or how many you can hold in your mouth in 30
I think it would be
seconds?
the
eat.
question is eat.
Oh, eat, okay.
Yeah, so if I had to eat them, I would just be chowing down as
Hey
fast
Little
as
Buddy
I
has
can.
another one.
Okay, let's
Hey
go.
Little Buddy said also, what even is wind?
What is wind?
Air that moves.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
I feel like you should be able to figure that one out on your own.
I don't know. Yeah.
Trees blowing.
Trees blowing. Yes, things happening.
Cool, I guess we should start wrapping her on up. You have any projects you want to plug? Anything coming up?
Wait.
Oh, no,
I have
we
to
have one
stop
more?
the wrap up
Uh-oh.
to ask, but where does it come from? Thanks, Little Buddy.
Where doesn't it come from?
I would say, like,
There you go.
yeah, where doesn't it come from? I mean...
As long as if there's air, there's gonna be wind.
It comes from your swamp ass.
Heyo!
Call back.
Alright, so
Oh,
Eagle Boy
crap.
has also asked, what is a meerkat?
I think that...
I think Eagle Boy's cut off.
Yeah, I
These
think
are
that-
things you can Google.
At this point, guys,
Jason's not God.
come on.
Where's the let me Google that for you?
Yeah.
Hey Little Buddy said, hey, cool, thanks. Okay, I think we're...
All right, plugs.
So yeah, like I said at the beginning, go check out This World Alone's crowdfunding. Even if you can't donate, which is totally fine, just go ahead and hit the follow button. The way you get to it is you can either go to its Facebook page, it's This World Alone, or you can go to its Seed and Spark campaign page, which is thisworldalone.com. They have a week left or so, like 10 days to finish. They're almost there, and if they get like 500 or something like that followers, then they get all sorts of crazy good incentives, like free festival enterings and all this cool stuff. So you guys should definitely go check that out.
Georgia
Also,
Film Festival is one of those festivals, by the way.
exactly, yeah, Georgia Film Festival. You should check that out. You should also check out literally any music video made by Dominar, because they're the shit. And if it's their newer ones, then I'm usually helping on them and doing lights. So they're pretty badass, and they're definitely very like up and coming rock music video guys and girls. Let's see. I think that's about. Oh, and also check out the short film Dead Winter. That was the last project I worked on. I have the shirt actually. How about that?
Nice.
It's Dead Winter cast and crew shirt. That was a co-op between industry professionals and the University of North Georgia, where they had industry professionals be the keys and the team leaders, and then UNG people be like the ACs, the grips, the electrics.
Oh, cool.
And made a short, and it's pretty good. Jason Wynn was the director of it. He's known for the Fat Boy Chronicles, and then also Dead Thirsty. He's also got a feature in theaters right now, in select theaters, called Shifting Gears, and it's trending on iTunes. So
Oh, nice.
that's pretty dope. Ali Hogue was the producer, and then it should be pretty awesome, I think. You guys should go check it out. It's got a Facebook group as well. That's pretty much all the shout-outs I can think of right now.
That's a lot of shout-outs.
Yeah.
To your mom.
Shout out to my mom. She's pretty cool. I wouldn't be surprised if my little brother isn't like showing her to watch this. So. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I want to go ahead and plug Terminus, of course. June 15th to the 17th at Hilton, Atlanta. Game submissions are open and badges are on sale. Go to www.terminusevent.com for more information. Go check it out. And also, we have to plug, we want to plug Thea, who hosts our special little podcast. So after we do the stream on Tuesday, we'll put it up on Thea on Wednesday, and you can find it there, and you can find past episodes on Thea. Go to thea.network and search for Terminus Live, and you'll see past episodes. It's a really cool thing. Terminus, or thea.network. Sorry. Personally, I guess I can plug the I think I plugged this last week, but the Big Trouble in Little Chinatown is a radio play that I'm a part of. You can search for that anywhere that podcasts are available.
Okay.
Just search for the Big Trouble in Little Chinatown. It's what I've been calling monster noir.
Ooh.
And it's basically like a kind of film noir thing, but set in a world where there are monsters.
That sounds interesting.
Like it's all like Chinese. In this series that they're doing right now, it's all Chinese triads, and so it uses like actual Chinese myths and things from like Sun Wukong from Journey to the West is in it, and Fu Manchu, and they're actually very. And what's worth shouting out is that for all the Asian characters, they're played by Asian actors. And it's like only the second time that Fu Manchu has been played by an Asian actor in all the iterations that it's been portrayed. Yeah.
Huh.
So, if
That's
you
pretty
need
cool.
a reason to watch it, you're supporting media that is inclusive. Yeah. Cool. So that's all the plugs for today. Guess that's it. That's it for this week. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.